Velvet Buzzsaw is a new Netflix film. It is written and directed by Dan Gilroy. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Rene Russo and Zawe Ashton. And this is a film that I was relatively excited for, simply because it's directed and written by Dan Gilroy. And even though I haven't seen Roman J. Israel Esquire with Denzel Washington, I am a huge fan of Nightcrawler. And this film has taught me one thing. We should be glad that we're not getting intro scenes, opening, title credits to movies anymore. And I'm saying it for just one simple reason. They hype up the movie quite a lot, because I knew barely anything about this going into it other than it's having to do with something supernatural in the art world. And I barely knew who was in the cast other than Rene Russo and Jake Gyllenhaal. So the opening credits start and you see a lot of famous names, including also Toni Collette, John Malkovich, David Riggs, Natalie Dyer. It was like, wow, it's a big-ass cast. It's shot by Robert Elswit. It's scored by Marco Beltrami. I was like, yeah, I'm sold. Like, I was relatively excited before, now I'm into this film. It's gonna be absolutely fantastic. And unfortunately, it isn't. It really isn't. And I say that, like, I don't take joy or pride in saying that, it's just what it is. I was constantly hoping, after the first 30 minutes, I was hoping for the film to improve, to have something new that might actually make me say like, oh, okay, everything that wasn't working before now makes sense under a different mindset. But the unfortunate thing to say, at least for me, again, it's a review, personal thoughts, I didn't like this film. It left me incredibly cold by the end of it. And let's just say that the basic premise is that a man who is an artist has just died. No one knew who he was, no one had ever seen his paintings before. He gave specific instruction to have them destroyed, but a woman working in an art exhibit gallery for someone, I don't really understand all this shit, she finds these paintings and she sells them to Rene Russo, and these paintings blow up and everyone is loving them and everyone is touched by them, but there is something supernatural attached to these paintings, and yeah, that's kind of the film. That's the basic premise of the film. But the main problem of this film is that it has an incredibly disjumbled narrative. The tone is all over the place, the editing, it's very messy, there are constant time jumps in this film, like, supposedly this takes place in an arc of over like probably a couple months, maybe even more, I don't know, but you never feel the passage of time in an effective way. Characters do things in the film that you never see them doing, but then they're talking about them as if you've actually seen them do it, like, oh, I've read the article that you've published. What article? Like, in the scene prior to this, you were in this person's apartment, the next scene you're on the phone with her, and she's talking about an article that you've written when? When is it all happening? It's incredibly confusing and hard to follow, at least, again, for me. And also the characters. It's one of those films, like, you know, when you have some films like the director's own Nightcrawler, you have a very unlikable protagonist, yet you like watching him on screen. You're almost rooting for him in a very sick way. In this film, you just don't care about anyone. Everyone is an asshole. It's basically a satire of the art world, mainly related to paintings, where you have art critics, with the main one being played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who are all these weird who have weird personalities and all these high opinions, and how their critiques are destroying some people's lives. Then you've got the owner of galleries, the owners of paintings, who are all assholes who just want to profit out of art. And it's like, you've seen these things done before, and the sad thing is that this film actually has something to say about the critique of criticism itself, about art, how it is losing its initial power, it's becoming more monetized, more of an actual market, which is a sad truth of the art industry. But in the end, you also have this supernatural element that really adds nothing of value to the story. It leads to a couple of violent deaths that of characters that you don't care about, with underwhelming depths, overly cartoonish, a couple of them, especially towards the ending, and just mind-bogglingly stupid character decisions. You spend the majority of the film going, but why? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you going there? If the world is changing around you, you don't just go, oh, I guess that's normal. Oh, look, before there was a wall there, but now there's an entrance to an art gallery. Let's just go right in. I say no. I start screaming like hell and running away. I wouldn't just say, yeah, let's enter there. It wasn't there before, but let's just try. Like, there are so many dumb things in this film. And it's very disappointing because the cast itself does a very fine job. Some better than others. Like Jake Gyllenhaal, this is more akin to his performance in, say, Okja, where he was very over the top, very cartoonish. Rene Russo, she's great as always. Natalie Dyer as well does a good job. John Malkovich, in a smaller role, also was very good. David Diggs. I wouldn't say anyone was really bad in this film. Zawe Ashton, who I mainly remembered from Blitz with Jason Statham and Nocturnal Animals in a smaller role. The problem I have with her is mainly with the characters. I can't really complain about her acting because, well, she did a good job, but the character was so unlikable. And the first thing that I said after the film finished, I finished watching the film, I said just one thing. I'm gonna say it again here. This is a film that probably worked really well on paper. It probably was a really clever script. It has some interesting themes, interesting ideas. And reading it, you can probably tell that it was a very ambitious project. But actually seeing the script translated to screen, it does not work. And it's a very hard thing to explain, but let's just say that watching the film, I understand how effective it would have been on paper, on the page, but actually watching it unfold on screen was very underwhelming. And that's the key word to this film, underwhelming. I was not particularly shocked. It's not particularly intense. The humor is hit or miss, and it's mainly miss. It's a disappointment. It's a really big disappointment. And I've also heard relatively negative things about Roman J. Israel Esquire, so I really hope Dan Gilroy isn't a one-hit wonder with his directorial films, which is very unfortunate because, as I said, there are interesting ideas about the art world, the corruption of it, and the critics and whatnot, but ultimately it's slightly bloated, very uninteresting, not particularly compelling. It has good acting in it, and also the cinematography of Robert Elswit, again, it's kind of underwhelming. It feels like a TV show, or it feels like a TV movie even, which I know it's made by Netflix, but still, I was hoping for something more, and it's all because of those damned opening credits. So, I don't know guys, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts in the comments below about this film. It's definitely gonna be divisive, probably bordering more on people disliking it, and I perfectly get why. And it pains me to say, but I didn't like this film. But still guys, what are your thoughts on Velvet Buzzsaw? Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.